All right, Rag Boy here.
RJ,
and RJ, first podcast of 2012. And you know, this should be a podcast of doom and gloom, being that our Mayan ancestors have said that this is the final year, the year of our demise. But hey, we figure we should go out in style. Go out in style. So we're going to have a great year. I think this is going to be our best year yet. Lots of stuff, and we have a bunch of stuff that we haven't announced yet, and some of it we can't talk about yet. All right, so what we're here to talk about today is the 2012 Tige RZ4. Now, Tige gave us a great opportunity. They're letting us use the boat for a couple months. It was a brochure boat, and we're using it to just basically go through it and get a good review of it. It's been a great time, and I'll tell you, we have a lot to say about the boat from head to toe. But I know that a lot of you, there's only really three things that matter to you about the boat, and it's the Wakesurf wake, the Wakesurf wake, and the Wakesurf wake. So let's just get to that right away. All right. So as far as the Wakesurf wake, it was a great wake, wouldn't you say? I would say it's not quite as good as the RZ2, not quite as good as the Z3, but it was great.
Yeah, it was a good wake.
Yeah. The only thing is it took us a while to find it. Our first impression of the wake was, this is just okay. But we just had to find it. And I think the reason why it took us, once you know where something is, it's easy to find. Because once we found it, then every time we went out after that, we were able to get dialed in pretty quickly. Also, the 24VE, when you weighted at different weights, it didn't have a lot of push until we weighted it to the gills. The RZ4, RJ, push. Every setup we had,
pretty good push.
Yeah, every setup we had, it had plenty of push. So I don't think that's an issue. So one of the first times we went out and started to get the wake dialed in, I think, was when we took Frank Walter and the Walters out on Camp Far West Lake. Remember? Right after the polar bear event? That was a lot of fun. Here's a little video that you can take a look at that, because Frank and Chris loved, especially Frank. Frank was ready to buy the boat, I thought, at that time. He just, Frank just, couldn't afford it at that time. But he was like, I think he would have bought the boat. I think he even called his wife, said, honey, get on this boat. It's pretty funny. But you got to check out Frank here. Okay, so now you can see on Frank's face, he loved the wake, and Chris was launching. And basically the way we had the boat weighted, I believe we had all of the front filled in, surf side, plus 500 pounds of lead underneath the surf side, and then a little bit on the opposite side. Now later when we went out, we kind of learned how to dial that in. It took us a couple more times. Basically, when we had that setup where we had 500 or 600 pounds of lead added to the stock ballast, we basically put everything filled on the surf side, everything on the front. Then we positioned our people, and we used something called a clinometer. If you have an iPhone or a Android app, it's called a clinometer. It just measures the angle. And at rest, we were at about a 9 or 10 degrees list, and that seemed to give us the right wake. So this video is from our last time where we really felt like we got dialed in. Now this is an experiment we did, because there's one thing you're going to find out about this RZ4. The RZ4 has tons of room. RJ, dude, it's a living room in the cockpit, and then you have a dining room in the bow. It's just humongous. And all the creature comforts are there. The interior is gorgeous. So much room. But you know where you really get extra room with the RZ4? With the RZ2, it really doesn't like weight on the opposite side as much. You got to keep the weight on one side. Now that boat threw an amazing weight.
Yeah.
But if you put a little too much weight on the opposite side, it starts to wash over. The RZ4 likes weight on the other side. So we had this idea. Let's get 10 people out there. Even though it's freezing, let's get 10 people out there in the boat and fill it up and see if we can make a great wake, like as if we're out all day and you have relatives and you don't know where they're going to sit. And let's go, and we didn't have any lead, just a couple extra sacks. Dude.
Yeah.
Okay. It took us about 30 minutes to dial in. Not that, probably because it was cold.
Yeah.
If it wasn't cold, we probably would have taken 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But we were all freezing and nobody wanted to be in the water. So it took us a little bit to dial in. We got it dialed in. We just basically put an extra sack, 400-pound sack underneath the side seat, a whole 1,100-pound jumbo sack in the locker with the under tank filled, and we had people all over. And then we only filled. Now this is key. It did not work with the entire front filled. We had to take out half of the front. So we only did Surfside front.
But we also had a lot of people in the boat.
We did. We did have people all over. But with that definitely, when you had too much weight in the front, it neutered the wake. So we went to half the weight up front. And then we got the angle to about 11 or 12 degrees. So I had more list. And it was dialed in. So here's some video so you can see it with split screen, so you see regular and goofy. You know, the interesting thing about this day, RJ, is that we were just planning on doing this quick test. Everybody's going to be freezing.
Yeah.
But the wives came, the family came, because we wanted to get everybody in the boat. RJ, when was the last time you had that much fun on a boat?
I don't know. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I think one of the secrets to having fun is just bring Frank, right? I mean,
yeah.
Frank's a nut. And if you want to have a good time, as long as you're not easily offended, and we're not, bring Frank, okay? Anyway, and also he makes great ballast. Heck, bring me and Frank. You won't need ballast. So we had a blast that day. Here's some pictures you can see of the whole boat. And you can see us all in there having a good time. So, you know what? Even in January, 50-degree weather, 50-degree water, we're having a blast on the RZ4, and it just had a ton of room. Now, just to show you, so if, gentlemen, you guys, all you're looking at is the wake, your wives want to know about the interior, now's the time to bring them into the video. Now, a lot of people had a problem with, you see posts about, man, why did Tige move the cooler up to the bow? You know, that's the worst place for it, and I want an open bow. And I want to say, I got to raise my hand that we always thought I do not want anything in the bow. I like the open bow. We've never used our filler cushion. We've never used it. Here's the thing. It used to be, in our 2007 24VE, the cooler was underneath there was observer seat. Then, in 2010, they moved it to the goofy side, just in front of the back lockers. Now, that was a bad idea for us, because if you're goofy, you want to fill that whole area up with sackage. Now you got a built-in cooler. So that was a problem. So now they move it up to the front. It's the best place for it.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? It's the best place for it. It's so easy to go right there up front. Nobody ever has to get up, because if anybody's in the bow, which not a lot of people are in the bow, they're usually on the side.
Yeah.
So nobody really has to get up. If they do have to get up, it's probably a kid, and who cares?
Yeah.
So that part's really easy. It didn't bother us at all. And on the RZ4, it doesn't, the playpin doesn't come all the way to the driver. It's just in the bow area. So it's still pretty open. So I'd give a thumbs up. Quick update on the Tige Touch. We had the 2010 RZ2 on the newer boats, and this is not just the RZ4 and all of them. It's been upgraded. There's some really cool stuff. You got to check it out. One of the things that you really have to, if you've had the older boat with the first Tige Touch, when you see this, when Ben Pigeon showed me, I was like, oh! Right? You go to the speed set, and it has 3 buttons. So for really quick, it was like
11, 22,
11,
and 30,
22, and
28.
Yeah, and 28. So it's like surf, wakeboard, ski. So you can instantly start there and then just do minor adjustments.
Yeah,
now, this is going to sound kind of dumb, but sometimes you get a feature in a boat that when
it already
you...
sounds dumb.
It already sounds dumb?
It already sounds dumb.
It already sounds. You get a feature in a boat, and it becomes a must-have. And you would buy a boat for this feature. And the funny thing is, probably the one thing you look at owners forums, people complain the most about is cup holders.
Yeah.
Where is my cup holder? I used to have a cup holder here. Now it's not there anymore. And I remember the driver's cup holder people had in the Tige. Now that it's moved down, people have, didn't like that, even though there's 30 of them everywhere now. I think Danny has had them drill cup holders every, 30 inches or something. But it's the trash can, okay? If you have a family and you go out on the boat, this RZ4 has a trash can behind the driver, and it's a little thing that opens up, and you drop your cans, drop your trash in there, and at the end of the day, you can open it up. All right, so that's the trash can, and I kid you not. Don't think it's a little thing. You get out on the boat, you're gonna love that trash can. Anyway, because they've been in other places. It is so convenient there. Also, there are cigarette lighter adapters on both sides in the cup holder areas where there's grab handles. So if you have people with iPhones and everything, man, I love the fact that we just have chargers and we keep charging stuff up, plus our cameras and everything. Awesome stuff there. The interior, it's better, I think, than the 2010 interior, which was a huge step up for Tige. This is seriously quality interior, and it just feels like it's giving your butt class act stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful stuff.
Only the best for the butt,
Only the best for the butt, that's right. Board racks and Bimini top. Now, when we go surfing, especially we had these 10 people, we had like 8 boards in the boat. Well, sometimes we've had as many as 7, 8, 10 boards in the boat. Okay, we put them in the center console. Tige's got surf wakeboard racks, so you get 2 in there. I really, I've sent emails. I hope Tige comes out eventually with surf racks, or maybe even surf racks, or even better, surf racks. I mean, why not? I mean, that would be awesome.
Well, but even though they have wakeboard racks, all the skimboards fit in them.
Most of them do.
So
Yeah, most
it's
of
not
the
a
time
problem
they fit
with
in.
people with skimboards.
The problem though is with the surf rack sometimes is everybody, you go to the arch bar traction, it can be hard to fit in there, so they need to be a little wider. But Tige has the great surf Bimini top, and just if you're gonna surf, don't even think about it. Just get that option. It's not that expensive, and you're gonna regret it if you don't.
Yeah.
The surf Bimini top allows you to put up to 4 boards up in the Bimini. It's really easy to get them up there.
Or 6 skinny boards.
Or 6 skinny boards, or 1 real skinny guy. No fat people. No fat people on top of the Bimini top. So, you know what? You got to have it. It's great. We loved it, and it just clears up boards, keeps them from getting damaged. It's fantastic. 2 other things about performance, okay? One is the boat performs really well. Low speed and everything. You just got to get used to it a little bit. I think I'm a pretty experienced inboard driver. If you know what you're doing with an inboard, you're going to be fine with the bigger boat. It really does respond well. If you're not an experienced inboard driver, get some experience before you go into a big boat like this. Practice, places where there's nothing but soft cushions everywhere or something like in the open water and pretend there are obstacles that you got to miss. The only complaint I would have, though, is the PCM throttle versus the older Marine Power throttle. It's touchier. In the beginning, we were both constantly going, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
You kind of...
Well, it's probably because we're just used to the old one.
Well, that's what I was going to say. As soon as we got used to it,
It wasn't a problem.
it didn't seem to be a problem. Like, I got to the point where I was doing really tight maneuvers into the dock, even though it's more touchy. I just got used to it. I'll probably go back to the MP and think, man, this thing doesn't barely do anything. So I think it's just a matter of getting used to. But it was at first, it felt like a complaint, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I love the throttle, though. It's the
way it
billet
handles
aluminum.
you,
the
yeah,
billet
it's
aluminum.
nice.
It's
Makes
really
you feel like
sweet.
you're in a throne.
Yeah. Getting that thing up to speed, like 30 miles an hour. Here's some video. And, man, you could crank it around. It is not as sporty as the RZ2. The RZ2 is really sporty. The Z3 is a little more sporty than the RZ4. Maybe not as sporty as the RZ2, although we'll have more to say about that when we get the Z3. But I want to make a really good point about this. The 409. I was kind of like, oh, man, this thing's got the 409 in it. It's going to take a lot of gas. Do we really need the extra power? First of all, it has a lot of extra power. Yeah. You notice it right away.
Yeah, every time you accidentally push the throttle forward because you're not used to it, you just like,
whoa! I mean, the thing just takes you. It just gets out of the hole really hard, and it's really quick. And that might be some of the touchiness that we felt too. It could just be we're not used to that power. It really gets a lot of power going out of the hole, and it just still has a stock 537 prop. We didn't ever have any cavitation, even when we weighted it really hard with the 10 people that we did. But here's the amazing thing, and I want to say this really loud. It still got 4 gallons per hour. How is that possible? How is it possible that we get more power? We go from 340 horsepower to 409 horsepower. It's a huge difference, and the thing, it seems to get the same gas mileage. Now, we have friends, speaking of gas, we have friends that have other boats that they surf at 8 to 10 gallons per hour. That's a lot. I mean, they're pushing, whatever it is about their haul or whatever, that's a lot of money to spend. RZ4, huge 24-foot boat. You could put tons of people in there. Surf, weight it down. We had it weighted more than most people are ever going to weight it. And we're getting 4 gallons per hour? Dude, that's pretty amazing. See, those are the things when you got to sell. Those are the wife selling points, okay? Those are the trash can wife selling point. Gallons per hour, wife selling point. Lots of freeboard. The RZ4 super safe.
Yeah.
Wife selling point. Because you got to get the wife
and
to climb.
crap load of room.
Crap load of room. Yeah. Yeah, because it likes weight on both sides, you can put people all over. It's awesome. So, have a good day.